Hey y'all, a bit of a somber message today. Yeah, that's right. It's June 18, and I'm not back from Mid-Ohio. I never went to Mid-Ohio. I did go down and pick the bodywork up, I think, on Tuesday this week. Um, Bit of an issue between the components of this deal. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm past it. I'm over it. We've got the body work here. It's over at Rich's in the trailer, so it won't get scratched. We're waiting on Rich to get this radiator welded up so it stops leaking. We're leaking air. He's having trouble with the pre-existing welds that were on it and the material, I guess. I don't know. So he's taking it to work and using the fancy production welder at work and trying to get the stuff done. He does little bits. And I told him you just need to. There's 4 of these pieces. Those pieces I showed you, the U-shaped piece that was going to be the little mount that went on the radiator that's going to mount on the side of this conveyor, air deflector, whatever you want to call it. He needs to weld all the way around the outside and then all the way around the inside. Because he'll weld on the outside and air will leak from underneath. So he's just going to have to. He's been, doing it on his lunch hour, and you want to eat if you can, while you're at work. I mean, you only get so much time to do that. So he just come over and picked it back up. He knew Friday when he dropped it off shortly after that it was still leaking, and I marked it. The leak just moved. It's not leaking any worse or anything, or any more, but still same positions. And let me fix this behind you. And it seems to be, like I said, just moving ahead of wherever he stops. That's where it leaks. So once we get the radiator, we can put the fan shroud back on. We can mount the radiator on the bumper. We have already got the bumper cleaned up back in place. We've oiled it up so it doesn't get rusty. Just waiting on this radiator. So I really haven't touched the project all week or all weekend. Part of obviously part of it we don't have radiator to work with. Can I string off mile long, way too long pieces of wire and run the wire? So yeah. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do this in the order it needs to be done, and if that means we wait for a radiator, then we wait for the radiator. That's all there is to it. We didn't make Mid-Ohio. Now at this point, I certainly wouldn't make John wait until December. That's just stupid. I need it out of my garage. He wants it back. He wants to. I'm sure he needs to do runs on it after he finds out the language that it speaks. Now we're getting the body on and off, how to go about doing it. And of course, we need to get paid so we can pay the painter. So don't want to hold anybody up. Certainly don't want to hold ourselves up. We have a bunch of projects of our own that we're going to get to, and we're going to bring all that stuff to you. I think the first thing we're going to just start out with doing is one of 2 things. The easiest thing to do is get a seat that fits me into the lay-down shifter cart. We spent a boatload of money on that motor. We've got the pump carburetor figured out now. I think we get a good, comfortable seat in it like we used to have before we got so big and fat. And, we'll be able to run it and drive it and have a good time with it. That'd be quick. That's a quick fix. We've already got that big seat made. I've lost some weight. I know you probably can't tell, but I have lost probably 12 pounds up to this point. It doesn't show because I was so overweight, man. It was bad. But the next least time-consuming bit would be to put the body work we already have made on the lay-down Yamaha. And I know you say, why are you guys screwing with that Yamaha? Because we've got it now. We've got it shook down, and we've got the bugs worked out of it. The handling is good now with the little tiny tires all the way around. Man, the carburetor tuning was really good because that thing was just flying down the straightaway at Grattan. super excited about how that little motor was running. So now it deserves to have a pretty body put on it. And who knows? Maybe we take that thing up to Grattan in July or over to Nelson or Bowles, who knows, and run it with a for sale sign on it. We can get it into somebody's hands so they can actually get to the track and run it and use it and have a good time with it. Is it the latest, greatest competitive? No, but you know, newbies don't need the latest, greatest, most competitive. They're going to have to learn, again, the language. They're going to have to learn how to register. They're going to have to learn that you can only go out in your own practice session. They're going to have to learn what practice session they belong to if they're going to go and try to line it up and race it. And then they're going to have to learn how to run around with other karts, faster karts on the track, whatever. I don't care what you've done, raced bikes, motocross, this, that, the other. It's not lay-down go-kart racing, and it's not the same. It may apply in time, but it certainly won't apply right away. So best to buy a $1,000 or $1,500 go-kart and go run it, you know, and that way if you don't like it or you don't pick it up or it's too much language for you to take on, you can offload it. And if you lose $500, it's not a bad gig, man. I mean, you're going to pay more than $500 to rent a go-kart. So anyways, after that, we have the sprint shifter kart, the CIK kart, which now we're finding is, you know, of such vintage that we're literally going to have to put our fingers on every inch of that go-kart. I was over there trying to get my new nose the other day to fit. It won't even fit the bumper. The mounting system that you have to buy separately is, it used to be molded right into the nose in the old days. Now they're separate. So, you know, you have to buy both the nose and the mounting system. But none of it fits. So the bumper is going to have to be altered to fit this new bodywork. Well, why not just get, well, because I paid $258 for a nose and a driver fairing, cleaned up the Unico white pods to go with the white nose and driver fairing, and paid another $260 for my custom graphics to go on that specific set of nose, driver fairing, and pods. So I got a bunch of money tied up in this. Now I'm going to have to make the bumper talk to the late model stuff. I need a rear axle. The rear axle is just butched. It's a wonder that thing even run around a racetrack. It's bad. I need a little bit wider axle so I can make the rear end modern day width. Right now I think it's at 52 inches. It needs to be 54 and a quarter or something. I mean, it needs to be, and then the front isn't really adjustable. It's got the CRG bolt pattern, the front wheel, so that's the bigger bolt circle, only on this bastard CRG, and of course this Renspeed, because it was a knockoff of a CRG. Only way to make your front track width wider is to put pre-made stamped shims that go over the lugs onto the hub, and multiple shims behind. And that now, man, you get too many of those things on there, and the wheel is really only sitting on 3 lug bolts. It's not registered on the hub anymore. So that's not cool. And so there may be some flim-flamming going on. I'm going to steal a line from my preacher. So that kart, I'm going to guess, probably won't be seen or done or shook down, ready to go to a track till October this year. We were hoping to have that thing ready for Grattan, but the more I get over there and look at it, the more every bit of it needs attention. Every square inch of that thing is going to need attention. So that's going to be a time-consuming project. We can knock a couple other things out real quick, then put the CIK kart on one side of the garage, our 250 chassis on the other side, and start building them both up at the same time. And don't forget, we have the Emic laydown we want to make into a shifter, that we have every part and piece for it as well. All the shift levers, pedals, everything, billet, everything beautiful, nice, red anodized everything, brakes, toot sweet. So we haven't had any luck finding us a new place. We've been out. We just went yesterday, out south of I-94, south of the metro airport, so to speak, into the country, west of 275. So 94, 275, we were out here. We looked at 3 properties out there, all within 15 minutes of each other. The last one was probably the winner. I mean, we agreed we liked it. Then we get home and you know, you're dealing with women. She all of a sudden she doesn't like anything about it, and I think she's put her standards so high that we're never going to find a house. I actually fear that. I'm going to be stuck in this joint, this rental joint forever. But who knows? God willing, He's got a plan. Maybe He's in the midst of moving, getting somebody ready to move, so we can go take a look and get in there. I don't know. But that's our Father's Day update. Sad to say that they're at Mid-Ohio. They got through Saturday, I think, with no red flags, especially coming from the past 3 years of 4, 5, and 6 of them a day. I believe no red flags, but today they did not get out. They did not escape without tragedy. And friend of ours, I mean, not a good friend. I don't know him. I couldn't call him and go stay at his house. But he used to race with this guy way back in the mid to late 80s with our Hartman copy with just a nose on it back in those times with a K88. We ran stock appearing in WKA. Our stuff was boat anchor. I mean, it was old and washed up compared to their stuff, but this guy ran stock appearing, 100 controlled, all that kind of stuff. He was a WK board member. He was part of the road racing committee for a long, long time. His name is Dan Stowell, and if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and he was an older fella. From what I understand, he might have been an 83-year-old man. That's a full life, folks. Bible doesn't guarantee you that long. 70 years, maybe another 5 to 10, you know. But that's a full life. 83 years is a long time. And he must have been in good shape if he was running around Mid-Ohio, because I understand that place is an absolute cob now. So prayers for his wife and children, family, loved ones. Doesn't matter how long someone's lived or how full a life they've had. When they're gone, and it leaves a void in your heart. So pray to God. God will fill that void up with His Holy Spirit and bring some peace and comfort to those folks. That's it for the 18th. We've just been messing around, working on a little TM K9B for a buddy of ours, making him up some tools. Figured while we're making him tools, we'll make a second set so we have them for the next friend that needs tools. So rotor holder, a rotor puller. We're making all this stuff ourselves. I'll bring you that stuff tomorrow when we kind of got it done. You can take a look at what we got going. I'm also making him his own timing gauge. So going to knock the porcelain out of a spark plug, TIG weld a little piece of tubing on the top of the bottom of that plug. So he's got a bushing to go into the head, and then of course your dial indicator goes in with a little set screw, and you can do your timing and stuff. Pop Basher gave me mine way back in the day. Old Pop Basher. Brent, take a look at this. There's old Pop Basher right here. Him and my dad sitting down behind his old copper-colored Dodge van, right? And in here, I'll have to show you this one day too. Every one of the payments I made, handwritten invoices from Pop Bash himself. Look at those things, turn them brown. Every time I went down and paid him, whether it was $100, whether it was $20, whether it was $300, I'd go down to Hamtramck, which is halfway to downtown Detroit, and I'd pay him, and he would not let me take that go-kart till it was paid off. But he did give me a bunch of stuff with it. You know, spare motor, pipes, and he gave me a timing gauge, which I still use to today, the timing, the Mitsutoyo dial indicator for doing our timing. So that's it. We're getting everything going here, just out here messing around today in between morning church and evening church. And, you know, just burning time, waiting for the big event, if you know what I mean, Glenda, Randy. God bless y'all. Hang in there. It'll get better. It'll get better. You know why. Jesus is coming.